Our story begins with Goten, Gohan, and Goku preparing to go reunite with the Z fighters. Gohan would be telling his brother Goten to stop playing before Mom sees him. Chi-Chi would scold him, and Goku and Gohan would beg her to calm down, but she would scream at them. She told Goku to take them before she makes them stay. While on the Nimbus, Goten would ask Goku if the Krillin guy he talks about is strong. Goku assures him he's strong. Gohan asks Goten why does he like fighting. Goku and Goten laugh and look at each other and say, "Thrill of striving to be the strongest." Gohan would say to himself, "Even if I don't understand why you like fighting, I will be just as strong as you." They would arrive and Goten and Gohan would greet everyone. Goku would introduce them and Gohan would kind of step behind him, and Goten would tell him to stop being shy. Everyone would be frozen in shock because he had a son, or two sons to be exact. Goku would only laugh, but Goten would be busy trying to fight Master Roshi. Gohan would be telling Goten to stop, as they would enjoy their time. Little did they know an unexpected guest would appear. This would be the Saiyan known as Raditz. He would search for a certain someone's power level. He would make his way to a power level he felt was high. This would be none other than Piccolo Jr. He would pay Piccolo a visit, and when realized it wasn't his target, he left. He then found himself going to the second highest power level, and this would lead him to Kame House. Everyone would brace themselves. Gohan would try to act brave but still would be scared. The Saiyan Raditz landed at Kame House. He would explain to Goku how he's his brother, and would laugh at how Goku had children with a human, but says he could recruit the one that looks like father. He has a high power level. Krillin would be easily defeated. He would then snatch Gohan and fly away. Goku and Goten would scream for the Nimbus and fly behind Raditz. And once they landed, Goten would try to run towards Raditz. Goku would snatch him back and tell him to stop and wait. Goku would then take off his weight and then charge in. Raditz would throw Gohan in the space pod and charge back at Goku. Raditz would punch Goku and Goten would run to Gohan and bust him out. Raditz would continue to dominate against Goku. Soon two huge spikes of power would emanate from Goten and Gohan. They would punch Raditz and he would fly back. Piccolo would arrive and aid Goku in his fight. Once Raditz was back on his feet, he was so infuriated, he cherished a blast and shot it at Goten and Gohan. Piccolo would push them out of the way and counter the blast with his own. Goku would smile and jump back into the fight. Goten and Gohan would be confused because their power level had dropped. They would prepare to fight, but Piccolo would tell them to stay out the way. Goku and Piccolo combined strength wasn't enough to keep up with him. Goku had to use his last resort. He would punch Raditz and grab him and yelled at Piccolo to charge the special beam cannon. Goten and Gohan would yell and scream. Before the beam hits him, he tells them he loves them and to continue to get stronger for Chi-Chi. Goten and Gohan would burst into tears, but they would stop crying after the Raditz tell them about the Saiyan's arrival. They would arrive in a year and kill them all. They are far stronger than him, then he would die. Goten and Gohan would flash golden for a split second and they would pass out. Piccolo would feel the key spike and decide he would train them. Piccolo would explain to the Z fighters of Goku's passing and how he will train the twins. They could possibly save Earth. As the Z fighters decide who will tell Chi-Chi, Piccolo leaves with the twins to begin their training. Piccolo would tell Gohan to lose the coat and Gohan would complain because he wants his dad's G like Goten. Goten would only laugh and ask when does training start. Piccolo would then explain. Instead of 6 months like in canon, Piccolo would make them stay in the wilderness for 4 months. Since Gohan is braver and stronger in this timeline, he would clothes beam Gohan into his father's G with his own special touch. He would then leave them alone, but yet watch them from afar. Gohan, being the smarter one, would tell Goten to find food, and he will work on a place for them to sleep. Once that was done, they would start doing push-ups, sit-ups, and even sparring. They would take a break and eat. This would be a daily routine for the months to pass. One night while in the wilderness, Gohan and Goten would look at the moon and talk about how small it looks from there, and they would soon grow in size, and they would grow huge fangs and turn into apes. Piccolo would rush over and remember what Raditz to Goku. He would realize that Saiyans need the moon to transform. He would destroy the moon, causing the boys to revert to normal. He would yank their tails from their bottoms and leave. Back to the present day, they would prepare for real training with Piccolo. They were dressed in their Demon G and ready to start training. Piccolo would make them climb mountains, and seeing as they took it so easily, he made them carry boulders across the field. Then he trained their reflexes 2 against 1. He would train them every day until that faithful day. The day of the Saiyan's arrival had come, and Piccolo and the boys would be very confident. Even though Vegeta would still feel unintimidated, he would still feel as though they play with them, but Piccolo just wanted to wipe the floor with them. Nappa would release his Saibamen and Piccolo, and the boys would defeat them with ease. The other Z fighters would be embarrassed, but thankful Nappa would then jump in the fight. Nappa would be getting demolished in a desperate attempt. He shoots a beam at Yamcha, killing him. Vegeta would stop his laughing after seeing the rage of Goten and Gohan. Change the terrain. Lightning started to strike and Vegeta's scouter would explode, and he would get frustrated. The boys would punch right through Nappa's chest and punch Vegeta through a mountain. He would resort to using his great ape form, and he would make an artificial moon. He would transform, and Goku would arrive. He would be surprised and proud. They would then start fighting as equals, and Goku would see Vegeta shoot a mouth beam at them, and they would get hit, and Goku would fall to his knees and yell. Goku would charge a Kamehameha and blast Vegeta, and Vegeta would fall over. Goku would unknowingly unlock Super Saiyan just like the twins. Goku would punch on Vegeta and kick him in the dirt. He would then yell at Krillin to throw a Destructo at his tail. He would revert to his base form. Weak Goku would spare him, then pick up his sons, and they would all leave. Since Yamcha died before, they needed new Namekian Dragon Balls to revive him. So in the hospital they would plan their way to Namek. Chi-Chi would be overreacting about the boys and wouldn't let them go to Namek. Gohan would have an angry outburst and beg for them to go, and she would let them, since everyone isn't as battle damaged as they were in canon. Bulma sent Goku back to retrieve the pod. Raditz came in. With that, she built a ship for them with a gravity room inside. Chi-Chi would overdo the packing for the twins and have them looking kind of funny. They would lift off and the twins would change their clothes and be ready to train. Goku would fight against the twins. Eventually Goku would learn how to transform into Super Saiyan. The boys are only able to transform when in great anger. They would arrive on Namek, would start looking for the Dragon Balls. Eventually they would run into Vegeta, as he is also looking for them. He would reveal his plans against Frieza, and make a temporary truce with the Z fighters. They would wait for their wish. The twins and Goku would go to get their potential unlocked, and they would be more than ready to fight Frieza. They would fly towards Frieza, and Goku would fight him. As the twins take out the entire Frieza force by themselves, Frieza would be speechless. Frieza would resort to his final form. After seeing his final form is ineffective, he goes full power. So Goku charges a Super Saiyan Kamehameha. The twins would do the same. Frieza would be completely erased and the Saiyans and Nameks were saved. Vegeta would end up coming to Earth with Goku and the humans. On the way to Earth, a Frieza force ship came behind them and began to fire at them. Goku would get out and fire a Kamehameha, and the boys would be put in escape pods, and they would fly in sync. They would be on their way to Earth. Unfortunately, the others wouldn't have much luck. Goku, having no oxygen, would have to hijack the Frieza force ship. He slapped some random coordinates in and left. Vegeta and Bulma would end up crashing towards a random planet. Gohan and Goten found themselves crash-landed in front of Kame House, splashing Roshi and the others like a tsunami. Goku would wake up in some type of medical machine. He would see two alien-like people. They would let him out, and he would feel alone stronger. They would introduce themselves. Chilai and Lemo. They would tell him they will need some time to repair the ship for them to leave. Goku and Chilai would leave the ship and explore. The Yardrat people welcomed them with open arms. They even trained Goku. Goku learned some very useful techniques, and Lemo would learn some stuff himself. Now to Vegeta and Bulma. They are exploring the planet Vampa. After finding a place where there are no monsters, Bulma throws a home capsule for them. Bulma would take a nap, and Vegeta would leave and explore. He would bring an old Saiyan ship. He would explain to Bulma that another Saiyan lives here. She would throw a motorcycle capsule and follow Vegeta. They would end up seeing a Saiyan sparring with a huge beast. Vegeta would approach him. He would introduce himself. His name was Broly. Broly would introduce Vegeta to Paragus, and Paragus would yell at Vegeta in anger and blast him in the gut. Vegeta would laugh and say, "All right, old man, you're done." Bulma would stop Vegeta and explain whatever grudge you have with Vegeta's father is with them. Paragus would have calmed down for now. Bulma would see the collar on Broly's neck. When alone, Vegeta and Bulma would ask Broly about the collar. He would tell him about it, and Bulma wouldn't like it. She would yell at Paragus because he only wanted to use Broly's power to kill Vegeta. She would destroy the remote for the collar and left with Broly at his consent. Paragus will never let Broly be a kid and made him train every day of his life, never even knowing what the outside world was like. Bulma would use the old space pod and spaceship to make a new one. She had more than enough materials. As she worked on their escape, Vegeta and Broly sparred every day. With few tools, it took longer than usual. They would stay on Vampa for 5 months. Back to Goku. He is in a gravity chamber. Lemmo would yell to Goku, "The ship is fired up, we are ready for takeoff." Goku would sigh and yell goodbye to the Yardrat people. On their way to Earth, 3 people gather the Z Fighters to see Goku's arrival. They wouldn't able to tell the Z Fighters too much about themselves because it's classified. Everyone would see a Frieza ship and think the 3 boys are tricking them. Until Goku comes out with his new friends Chilai and Lemmo. They are ex-members of the Frieza Force. Vegeta would sense Goku's energy, and him and Broly would fly over. Paragus would be watching from afar, menacing. When they arrived, Vegeta would want to fight Goku. Goku would accept until the 3 boys pulled him to the side. They would make Goku confirm he won't tell anyone what they discussed until 3 years later. Trunks would explain to him twin androids will appear in 3 years and begin to rampage. In their timeline, the androids kill everyone, and Broly blew himself up out of rage, and Goku died of a heart virus, and Gohan and Goten trained them before Gohan died. Before leaving, Trunks would have a brief 1v1 with Goku. Goku would have dominated against Trunks. Trunks would laugh and say he expected nothing less. He then tossed the virus cure to Goku. They would wave bye and leave in their time machine. Goku would explain to crazy androids will appear in 3 years. And they are crazy strong, and for the next 3 years they need to train. Goku would train Goten and Piccolo would train Gohan. Vegeta would mentor Broly like his brother, but Broly isn't much like Vegeta. Later on, Chilai and Broly move in together. Vegeta would finally become Super Saiyan as Goku masters and tries to surpass it. Broly and Vegeta would continue to destroy the gravity chambers, then they would finally reunite after 3 years. Chilai and Broly meet the son they're expecting in about a month and are speechless. Bosley, the hybrid Saiyan, had enormous ki, but has to suppress himself to avoid what happened to Broly in their timeline, and Vegeta will not accept the fact Trunks is his son. Their little reunion would be broken up as 2 androids would approach them. Lemmo and Mr. Briefs would have created a new type of gun that Chilai can use against the androids. She would then prepare for battle alongside the Z Fighters. Hope you guys liked it. Like and subscribe. I'm Ultramax and I'm out.